a company behind tons of channels like Smosh Pit, Smosh Games, Smosh Cast, and of course, Smosh.
¡Vine a acosarlo!
Smosh is easily one of the most classic channels on YouTube. They are the grandfather of skit content. They were so popular that they were the most subscribed channel 3 separate times. Their library of videos are filled with banger after banger, classic after classic, and ignoring the rough period, I'd argue that they're still going strong today. Okay, let me hop off of them for a second. If it isn't clear, I'm a pretty big fan of Smosh. I used to watch them all the time back in 2014, and I'm not joking, they're still pretty good today. So with Smosh, the channel, about to be 20 years old, I thought, hey, why not go through the long Smosh timeline and talk about the highs and lows of this classic staple of YouTube. I won't forgive you for fucking over Ghetto Smosh, though.
Man, y'all bugging. Take out of this gas station weed. Fuck no!
Let's travel back to the far-off year of 2002. We'll have flying cars and world peace. Attack of the Clones had just released, and 2 friends from Sacramento, California decided to make an online forum for their high school called Smosh. And the rest was history. Oh yeah, their names are Ian and Anthony, I guess. That's important to mention. Yeah, before all the songs and skits, Smosh started out as just a website, which was basically entirely made by Anthony, with Ian not really contributing anything to it, but it was fine. Ian got to be known as the funny one for 13 years. Anyway, eventually the pair would make and upload their first video to the website known as the Power Rangers theme song, in which they just lip-synced the theme song with the shittiest webcam money could buy. And I'm guessing people liked it as they made 2 more. The Mortal Kombat theme and their first big video, the Pokemon theme song. Which of course, like everything Nintendo related, got absolutely fucked over and deleted. How the fuck is SMG4 still alive?
You know you a bad bitch.
Anyway, this video was re-uploaded to a pretty young site. You might have heard of it. Dailymotion.com, baby. Oh, and I guess it was also uploaded to YouTube by some like random guy. Ended up going pretty viral too. Ian and Anthony saw this and probably thought, yeah, we should probably do that. So in November of 2005, Smosh, the YouTube channel, was born. Most importantly though, the iconic "Shut Up" was also created and became the trademark for the next 15 years. Anyway, they immediately uploaded all their lip-sync song parodies, and just like before, they went viral, even landing them a spot in the local news. Wow, pre-recession America truly had nothing to talk about, did they? Except for that war, I guess. I don't know, all anyone did back then was play George Bush games on Newgrounds. There's no documentation of this lost time. Anyway, with the success of their lip-sync videos, Smosh decided to branch out into other forms of content, mainly of course their iconic skits. Now around this time, I wasn't really old enough to realize I'm alive yet, so I don't know much about what Smosh was doing. All I do know is that in 2006 they started the long-running popular food battle series, and in 2008 they released what is still their most popular video, Beef and Go, which after watching it, I can confirm is like mid as fuck. Also in 2008 they would move into the now iconic Smosh House, where they would create a majority of their classic videos. Holy shit, Ghetto Smosh reference! Also, a lot of popular side characters were introduced that I remember being at like the tail end of their popularity by the time I started watching, like Teleporting Fat Guy, Boxman, and Charlie the Drunk Guinea Pig. I'd say that Smosh really hit their stride in like 2010, with one of my favorite videos being Food Battle 2010.
Come on, Donut. I know it can.
This is the quintessential food battle video. It's nearly perfect. The ending section of the video had me dying as a kid.
When I drowned in Food Battle 2006, I learned how to survive underwater by holding my breath.
This is when, in my opinion, we truly enter the Smosh golden age. And not too long after this, they probably released one of their most iconic videos, Pokemon in Real Life, which, like most Pokemon parodies of the time, were filled with like the same 3 jokes. They just got away with it because they were probably the first people to do it in live action. Also in 2011, they started the If Blank Was Real series, which had the long-running joke of having a clickbait thumbnail with a sexy woman in it, indicating she'd have her boobs out or something. And I can't lie, that shit worked like a charm on me when I was a kid. I watched like every single one of those videos and came out disappointed.
Oh, I thought you were a black midget.
They also started to produce music like the Legend of Zelda rap filled with topical lyrics about Lil Wayne and Katy Perry, which they would later fix the bad writing with bangers like the Assassin's Creed 3 rap. And even though I just called the writing bad, the Zelda one is still my favorite. If the Legend of Zelda movie doesn't look like this, I don't want it. Holy crap, look at the lineup of bangers they were pumping out at the time.
What the hell is that thing?
I think it's a bad guy.
Oh no. we'll get to that. Anyway, let's just skip to around like 2013 when I first started watching Smosh. It was definitely a good time to start because along with the bangers they started pumping out around that time, you had years worth of videos to look back on, which I did. Man Spider was always one of my personal favorites. Sadly, not that long after I started watching, something happened that immediately doomed Smosh forever, causing them to never recover. Anthony changed his haircut. Smosh is dead. Ian and Anthony were their haircuts. They had no other value besides that. They made up for it immediately by making Molester Moon. Anyway, I remained a constant viewer for a good couple of years. Smosh was on a pretty big hot streak. I played the Food Battle mobile game. It was alright, I guess. It wasn't no Angry Bird. They appeared in epic rap battles, and they say white people don't have culture.
What's up, dog?
I even watched the Smosh movie when it came out. What a crock of shit. But I don't know. I haven't seen this movie in years. Maybe it's so bad it's good. You guys tell me in the comments. I ain't suffering through it again. Anyway, one of the biggest changes around this time was the introduction of various new cast members that would later become staples of what Smosh is today. But before we get into that, let's back it up a bit because there's other stuff we should probably go over. Mainly their other channels. Smosh Pit started out as your typical second channel most YouTubers would have at the time, where they would just upload videos and vlogs that they just don't want clogging up the main channel. They had stuff like Lunchtime with Smosh, where it was just them fucking eating. Man, motherfuckers really watched anything back in 2010. Another series is Ian is Bored, which like the title suggests was literal garbage they uploaded when Ian was indeed bored. Objectively, the greatest thing to come out of this is Ian is Bored Response 2 by the GOAT Guptil89.
Doing your mom.
Anyway, the best part of Ian is Bored was the mail videos, where Ian and Anthony would open up all the fan mail that they would get sent to them. The only thing I remember from this series is the booby stress ball thing. That's it. Another channel they had was Smosh Games, which is where they, who would have guessed, played games.
What about Call of Duty? Ugh.
Unlike Smosh Pit, this channel was hosted by people who weren't Ian and Anthony, and I know it's a little mean, but I just really did not care about these videos. Even the ones like Ian and Anthony were in, like, I could just go watch Jacksepticeye, like, it just wasn't my thing. Another channel they made was El Smosh, which is Smosh, but Spanish. That's it. And finally, Shut Up Cartoon. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about Smosh Babies, as I never really delved into the other series. Also, that's literally the only thing people remember from this, let's be honest. Okay, so whose fucking idea was this? I'm assuming they wanted to make a cartoon that directly involved Ian and Anthony so the channel could get more promotion and all. In which they absolutely succeeded. This was easily their most popular show and probably the only one that people remember. Now, as someone who unfortunately watched the entire first season of this back when it was being made, what's my opinion? I don't like it. Obviously, I must have gotten something out of it back then to keep watching it, but now it's just gross to look at. Not only in terms of the animation, but the disgusting jokes that come along with the show being centered around babies. Now, I'm not some comedy purist. I like a good gross out joke from time to time. Farts are fucking funny. I don't care what anyone says. But of course, too much is too much. And I don't have to watch the entire series to know that every episode is probably filled with jokes like this. Get it? Filled? Like a fucking diaper? This, along with the gross visuals, really make it hard to sit through. Also, Ian and Anthony aren't that good at voice acting. Watch Frog Kingdom 2 if you want to see their real acting chops. Anyway, TLDR, I don't want to look at or think about Smosh Babies ever again. Please. My hope in humanity dies whenever I see how many Smosh Baby episodes there are. Hey, yo, hear me out.
Fuck no!
Where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, Smosh was still going strong in like 2014, and towards the start of 2015, they started introducing long-standing cast members into the show. All of who still appear in Smosh videos today, like Yakube's finest creation, Shane. I remember not really caring for them at first, typical, you know, change bad type mindset, but they eventually grew on me. Which is funny because nowadays, along with the new people, they basically make Smosh what it is. Around this time, they also started one of their long-running and most popular series, Every Blank Ever, which I also really enjoyed. They were the typical relatable type of humor at the time. Like, remember people taking pictures of their food just to not eat it? Hashtag blessed. I'm cutting that out. I know that sounds like I'm making fun of it, but the series was actually pretty good, especially if they made a video on something I cared about. Negan, if you think your stupid baseball bat can beat my pink frosted sprinkled donut, then you're going down, Dick Biscuit. The last episode was made 3 years ago, and yeah, that's fine. They made 211 of these. The well's probably pretty dried up now. Speaking of which, I started to lose interest in Smosh as a whole around the start of 2016. I don't really remember much. I would occasionally watch a video from them from, time to time, but I definitely wasn't as much of a fan as I was in like 2014. I did enjoy a nice Summer Games from time to time. By the way, the new one's fire. And I do know for a fact I went to see the Angry Birds movie literally only because Ian and Anthony were in it. I remember feeling so weird in that theater. I felt way too old to be in there, even though I was only 11. Oh, and out of principle, I never saw the sequel because they cut Ian out. The only way they can redeem themselves is to bring them both back for Angry Birds 3. They're back now. They have no excuse not to. Okay, anyway, let's just skip to the major thing that happened around this time. In June of 2017, Anthony left Smosh. And I can only assume that for some people, this was probably the point where they might have completely stopped watching. But for me, I had already stopped watching months ago. It was 2017. I was watching stuff like Video Game Donkey, Albert stuff, Dead Meat, and Baru Stew. I didn't have time to watch any old sketch comedy videos, man. So yeah, other than Anthony leaving, I had no clue what Smosh was doing. I can't comment on the quality of their videos at the time, I just wasn't there. I do know that in 2018, Defy Media, the company that bought Smosh all the way back in 2011, went completely bankrupt. And if Mythical Entertainment, good Mythical Morning, didn't come in to save Smosh, the channel would completely be a shell of its former self. It'd probably be like what Fred became after it was sold, with these weird ass kid videos. Why the fuck is Jake Paul here? Anyway, luckily Smosh was saved by Good Mythical Morning, and I always liked Good Mythical Morning. I watched them for a bit around the same time I was watching Smosh, but I never really got too into it. Their music videos are fire though. I was bored! By this time though, Smosh was already like a distant memory in my mind. Just one of those classic channels I used to watch in the good old days. I know that they were still doing their thing, like the Try Not to Laugh series, which was extremely popular, but like I said, I wasn't into it, and I truly really never thought I'd be watching Smosh consistently like I once did. Boy, was I wrong. But before we get into that, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that's Ghetto Smosh. Now, Ghetto Smosh was a parody channel created around 2022, and basically, they just took classic Smosh videos and kind of remastered them, but with the joke being that Ian and Anthony are from the ghetto, or actually what they would call them, Ghetto Ian and Antoine. Now, there were actually a couple of these channels around this time, like Fancy Smosh, which had like old-timey British accents, and Confederate Smosh, which you can probably guess use southern accents. But Ghetto Smosh was easily the most popular by far, and despite me being white as hell, I found them very funny. Perk 30 Disaster being my personal favorite, and the Legend of the Plug music video, dare I say, might be better than the original. Oh, come on, Smosh, how does a crappy little parody channel have a better chorus than you, dog? I was such a fan that I even made my own little parody video of like one of those, now that's what I call music commercials, but like with Ghetto Smosh, which was unfortunately shown in my high school film class because, well, I made it for an assignment, but at least it wouldn't have been the worst short film to be shown to a class. But anyway, I also uploaded it to this channel, but I ain't listening to it because it kind of sucks. But hey, they commented under it. Oh, and also the sound effect I use to censor stuff in my videos is taken directly from Ghetto Smosh. Anyway, sadly, it wasn't meant to be, as Perk 30 Disaster would get striked from the channel, leading Ghetto Smosh to private any other videos as to not get their channel deleted. And whether or not Smosh themselves actually did this, I believe it's still unknown. But like their final video says, it's kind of hypocritical that they would take down an obvious parody even though they had made an entire song about how Nintendo took down their classic Pokemon lip sync video. But that is if Smosh indeed took them down, which, like I said, I don't know. Rip Ghetto Smosh anyway.
Fuck you.
Anyway, back to Honky Smosh. Now, I'm sure Smosh still had their fans, but it wasn't until Ian and Anthony revealed that they were buying Smosh again that they got my attention. Which obviously should have been their goal from the start, because, basically I'm kind of a big deal. But by this point, it had been a long time since I watched Smosh, so I was truly on board to start watching these classic era Smosh sketches that they said they were going to start making. And you know what? They were fine. It was nice seeing them bring back a lot of old series to put one final bow on them, and even some classic characters too, but looking at the main channel now, it's apparent that they were never really planning to stick to it forever, which is also fine. The honeymoon phase basically wore off by the time they made the last one. But what I'm ultimately glad for is that by watching all these new Smosh videos, I started getting recommended stuff from their other channels, the ones that I totally blew off in the past, Smosh Pit and Smosh Games. And let me tell you guys something, his writing is kind of fire.
There you go!
$0.
I got $4 million!
You got $0?
I don't know what happened in the last 10 years, but damn, they make some genuinely good and funny content on these channels. All made better by the amazing cast of people that they have. Of course they still have the old cast, but a lot of the newer people are just as good, if not better. They make playing fucking Trivial Pursuit fun to watch. It's awesome.
No, it was the NBA.
Oh.
I'm being told it's like the WNBA, but all dudes.
You can actually tell that the people playing the games, correct me if I'm wrong, like each other and are friends. I especially enjoy Bored AF, the long lying games like Werewolf or Blood on the Clock Tower. Even a nice simple game like Uno and Yahtzee is awesome. Look, if you don't trust me, at least just try watching a fan-made compilation. They really highlight the best moments. Just ignore the cringy titles. I promise they're not that bad.
That's two broke girls. I know it.
There's 3 girls.
So many personalities. Which one do you want to be?
All the video game stuff is also great, like Don't Win, Blank, and Shane Guesses. I'm gonna be honest, guys, it's kind of hard to express how much I actually like something. Usually when I talk about something on this channel, I just shit on it. It's peak, what can I say? They even landed them a spot in the local news. Wow, post-COVID America really has nothing to talk about, do they? Except for that war, I guess. Speaking of peak, reading Reddit stories. I know it sounds bad. Really? Reddit stories? And yes, I was skeptical too. I fucking hate Reddit and Redditors. And I'm not even much of a podcast guy, which they have. But put on Smosh reading Reddit stories, now we're talking. They read all types of stories. Mostly just like sad and angry, but you know, sometimes they'll have something that's actually happy or funny. It's really just an absolute mixed bag when it comes to what they pick. But also, a part of me truly hopes that 90% of the stories they read are fake. Some of them are just that bad. Ooh, but damn do I enjoy it. If I'm not working on a video, I'm probably playing a shitty Roblox game with a Reddit stories video in the back. Sayonara. I really do enjoy it, and I 100% recommend it. It isn't shit. A modern version of a classic YouTube channel that isn't shit. It's not shit. I gotta find a new game. Anyway, that's pretty much all I can think to say. Never in my life did I think that even like 3 years ago I'd be watching Smosh in 2025. It just wasn't even feasible. But I am truly glad that Anthony came back so I could be exposed to the cool content they are still creating, which ironically he's barely in. And I'm also glad that some old fans who maybe didn't stick around got to see a classic Smosh sketch for the last time. Anyway, I'd say the future looks bright for Smosh. I'ma still be watching. Also, they still get like a lot of views too. There really was no conversation on whether they had fallen off or like dead at all, but anyways, that's basically the end of this video. So if you liked it, maybe like the video and subscribe, but if you hated the video, leave a comment on how much I suck and that I should bring back the old Vic Roy hairstyle. Okay, thanks for watching, I guess.